Hey everybody, it's Joel, aka The Daily Guru. You all remember my buddy Christian, and we were sitting here discussing and realized that we have something we need to settle with the music industry as a whole. We need to settle this problem of excessive remasters and how to do remastering correctly. You know, it was funny, the other week Jimmy Page announced that he's once again going to remaster and re-release the Led Zeppelin catalog. Exactly, when I heard it, I was like, why? He won't say what's different about it. I don't get why bands feel it necessary, or let's be honest here, I don't feel why Jimmy Page feels it necessary to continually re-release the same material.
We both love Led Zeppelin. Jimmy Page is my second favorite guitarist behind Hendrix. His ears, his production, everything that he has done is grade A top for me. But as we mentioned before, I have the 4-disc Zeppelin box set and the 2-disc companion. When that came out in the late 80s, early 90s, I think that was the first time that they had repackaged everything.
Yes. And it sounded better. Those, you know, he cleaned up a lot of the sound that he couldn't do with vinyl because of technology at the time. There is a sonic difference. You can hear a difference. It's cleaner, they're more together, and it was certainly more accessible for people.
When that came out, I said to myself, this is amazing. But then we also were talking about, he also released a 3-disc box set that was just called Remasters.
Yeah.
And while we were talking, as we were talking about it, I just don't understand why he thought this was not good enough. I need to release something else. It was essentially the same thing.
And the sonic difference you hear between them, in my opinion, I'll go ahead and say it doesn't exist. You know, I'm sure if you sat down and you realized that, oh, well, there's a 2 dB bump on the bass on this song. That is just so inconsequential to me. Other than we need to make more money and I like to tinker with things a lot, I can't see a reason why anyone would remaster their album more than once. It just doesn't make sense, especially under those circumstances, because you were talking about it. There are bands that do remastering correctly.
Another one of my favorite bands, Pearl Jam, when they talked about they were going to remaster and re-release 10 and then versus Vitology, Jeff Ament said it correctly in that we feel that 10 could be better. When we recorded it and when it was released, it wasn't to necessarily where we wanted it to be, but at the time, maybe due to constraints of money.
Probably finances,
and
let's
financing
be honest,
at the
they were
time,
an up-and-coming band.
It wasn't where we thought it would be. We did it because we want our fans to hear things as we want to hear it. Yeah. And I think they went about it the right way. I think another band that is going down, or has Led Zeppelin is falling behind, is the Doors. They released an amazing package of all of their albums. The packaging was amazing. I think you even mentioned before that it won an award that year for how it was put together. Something done like that once with extra liner notes, unreleased tracks, yes, give me those unreleased tracks. Do that once. But when you start remastering that, and there's 5 different remastered versions of Light My Fire or greatest hits releases, how many times do I have to buy the same album?
It's bands, in a lot of ways, I think you see a band, or an estate in many cases, that are being insulting to the fans, saying, we know you're going to pay another $12 for this, so here, you know, we'll tell you it's something different, but in reality, it's not. And I think it's people being rude to fans. And if you're just going to put one bonus song on it, in this day and age, you have to understand, people are just going to steal that one track off the internet, because I'm not going to go pay $9, $10, $11 for 10 songs I already have for the one song I don't. That's what the internet is for.
Say what you will about the Jimi Hendrix estate. They've done a lot of things wrong, and they've done some things good. One thing good that they've done is most of the releases that they have been churning out are unreleased things that we've never heard. It's not a same version of the song. Now, granted, there's going to be a couple demos in there, but like the Blues album, for example, this is all unreleased stuff that was never put on an album. Yes, give me that stuff, remaster that stuff.
Yeah, they've been good about it. They're still, it's just like, you want the greatest hits? Go get the Ultimate Experience. As soon as you pulled it off the shelf, I said, I know what that is, because it's kind of, that is the one Jimi Hendrix greatest hits, or the most, in my opinion, the most heavily marketed greatest hits album in history, Bob Marley's Legend. It's like, hey man, I like Bob Marley, I have Legend. You know, please, for the record, guys, dig beyond Legend. I love those songs, but he's much more than that. But I think that's it, is when bands get into excessive, there have to be at least half a dozen Aerosmith greatest hits albums out there. And granted, one of them, big ones, was actually done so they could get out of their current record deal. Again, it's how many times are you going to expect me to buy the same damn song?
On the same side, though, greatest hits, I think, can be a good thing. Without Bob Marley's greatest hits, myself or millions of other folks,
most people, let's be honest,
would not know Bob Marley. But hopefully I got into that greatest hits album and then I dug in, oh, what is Exodus? This is an amazing album. You get Aerosmith. Hopefully you dig back and say, wow, Toys in the Attic, is amazing.
Yeah, it can help when you have a band or an artist that has hundreds of songs. It can be an easy way to say, okay, this is what this guy's all about. Do I like it? Do I not? They can be convenient, but sometimes, you've seen it. The tracks they choose are a bit questionable. And when you get to 3 or 4, you're like, okay, you've really done this too much, especially in the age of the internet. It's just not necessary anymore when you can go over to the YouTubes and you can watch all of the, videos that you could possibly want. So I think in the end, guys, we're basically saying there's no need to buy every single remaster, and to the artist, please stop insulting your audience.